I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living.
I was talking about my maternal grandmother.
You know, they did mine too, and I found that it's very sad what people had to go through to get there. You'll find out when you go back like that.
I had no idea that my grandmother had suffered.
How does it feel then when all you believe to be true about your ancestry turns out to be entirely false? Finding your roots is the startling surprise Sunny Hostin experienced on PBS.
His obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
Fact of life. Interesting change of tune. For more, we go to our chief Sunny Hostin correspondent for a reaction.
Sunny is well known for voicing strong opinions regarding reparations and race. She really is the voice of justice. Then all of a sudden, she is shocked by a revelation. Sunny learns that her forefathers owned slaves. Yes, it's nearly too much to bear, isn't it?
Hostin, who I think is truly the nastiest woman on television and a genuine racist and not that bright, despite her law degree and everything else. She found out a little bit, these TV shows where they tell you a little bit about your family history and your ancestry. She found out some stuff about her ancestors that,
Greg Gutfeld had a great time pointing out Sunny's apparent hypocrisy. It's a worldwide sensation and the ultimate jaw-dropper. Hold on a moment. Click the subscribe button if you appreciate content that is honest and questions the status quo. Proceed. I'll hold off. Completed? Welcome on board. Let's get back in now. Now, let's take a closer look at this mind-bending tale. Yes, the co-host of The View, Sunny Hostin, was taken completely by surprise when she looked into her heritage on the family history program Finding Your Roots. She discovered something really significant, and it's creating a lot of noise. To give you some background, Sunny is well known for being quite vocal about reparations and racial injustices.
The record to let everyone know that I am very much against slavery. Very brave to say that on this panel. Karma, definitely. I mean, it's one thing. It's going to be so awkward on new episodes of The View when she tries to pull the race card.
Yes.
And then she's like, America is racist. And then they're like, yeah, they might be racist, but they're not like slave owner racist. like somebody that we.
That's so true.
You could have maybe done better. Okay, here's the thing. One thing, and I would have even actually not give her any is she said, well, I guess that's just what they did back then.
Yeah.
She should have followed that up with saying something along the lines of, and I understand that that's a departure from the way I've talked about this before. That was to me, the one thing that was missing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's okay, now that you have this information, have you had any personal growth? Do you think about things differently? You have to acknowledge that.
If she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity and she had no idea who she was.
Well, now we understand why she always makes Whoopi get the coffee.
True.
But you think about things that she said and how offensive they are.
Yeah.
Well, karma.
Yeah, it is karma.
She is quite passionate, so learning that her own ancestors were slave owners is both immensely ironic and unnerving. Let's talk about the precise moment Sunny realized the truth. You could practically see the shock that washed over her as these details became clear. She was on camera with the full expectation of learning anything interesting about her background or perhaps a unique immigrant narrative. finding out that her relatives were taking part in such a cruel institution was probably the last thing she anticipated. It seemed as if you were actually witnessing a complete shift in someone's viewpoint. Anyway, as you could assume, the internet went crazy after the story spread. Reactions erupted on social media. Doesn't it make sense? It's a shocking discovery. Individuals were reposting and retweeting, adding their own remarks, and so on. Some saw it as a moment of poetic justice, while others were in shock. This is where Greg Gutfeld enters the picture. He didn't waste any time in calling out what he saw as a massive instance of hypocrisy. On his program, Gutfeld, he openly ridiculed Sunny. He delivered the gauntlet with scathing remarks and scathing one-liners. It was clear that Greg was interested in more than simply Sunny. You know, it has to do with accountability. Greg, who is renowned for his sharp wit, didn't mince words in this situation. He likened Sunny's predicament to, well, what if a vegan also operated a covert BBQ joint? There was a biting edge beneath the quips that the audience was laughing at, a threat to Sunny's authority and credibility when it comes to talking about racial issues. Sunny had established herself as a fervent supporter of equality and justice, and she had talked fervently about restitution for slavery. However, the roles had now been significantly reversed. Gutfeld and his panel analyzed the ridiculousness, pointing out that Sunny frequently uses race as a weapon in debates, but her response sounded less than direct when it came to something so personal. And isn't that sort of the main problem here? The discrepancy between Sunny's private family history and her public beliefs. As Greg pointed out that Sunny had never shied away from calling out others, but failed when her ancestry was suddenly under scrutiny. The audience was all ears, some of them incredulous. Of course, this circumstance raises more general identity politics issues. Greg took this opportunity to criticize what occurs when conversations about race lose the element of human accountability and instead focus on a list of ancestry without, taking into consideration the complete picture of individual acts in the present. Focus also shifted to Sunny's response to the disclosure. Viewers saw that she didn't really address the apparent irony on the show or in interviews after her ancestral revelation. Many people thought she dismissed the issue as just a reality. Some people found that attitude to be sour, believing that there was a lack of, well, reflection. The conversation has, of course, become heated. You may wonder if it is just to make someone answer for the deeds of their forefathers centuries ago. Not likely, to be fair. Gutfeld also did not overlook that. However, given her strong public positions, Sunny's lack of recognition or personal development truly infuriated the critics. The narratives we construct around our identities and pasts are at the center of this broader discussion, not just Sunny or Greg. When political discourse focuses just on these factors without a deeper comprehension of individual context and behavior, there is something fundamentally risky. We must keep in mind that Sunny's story has struck a chord with many people, not just due to its humorous turn, but also because of what it says about our shared experience with history, race, and reconciliation. How can we identify ourselves when our family histories or stories don't match our own values? That is the challenge for Sunny, and perhaps for all of us. Gutfeld's opinion was obvious. He believes that rather than becoming mired in identities from the past that they cannot alter, people should focus more on what they are doing right now to solve injustices. It's your time now. What do you think about this whole debacle? Does it change how you view Sunny Hostin or not? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. I'm really interested to hear your take on this one.